On this episode of the Chris Konya Show, we talk to Dr. Naina Duffy about a great way to communicate with your doctor or physician and how to stay healthy from a dermatologist standpoint during quarantine. And then we talk to Jason Deleo of Meals by Deleo and Tim Dougherty of Project Lean Nation on what they're doing for the community and to help feed Rochesterians who might not be able to afford it, and of course how you can help. I don't know why I said "and" like that, but about to get hit by a car here. Thank you. It's all coming up right now on the Chris Konya Show. And first, we're going to be joined by Dr. Naina Duffy of Rochester Regional Health. She's on with me now. How's it going?
Pretty good, Chris. How are you?
Pretty good. I miss seeing you and your girls and a little bit of your husband in person.
I know. I miss it too.
How's everything with you personally, of course?
Everybody's healthy. The practice is good. We definitely miss seeing our patients in the office. As a physician, a big part of your life revolves around, seeing your patients, shaking their hands, patting them on the shoulder. And in some ways it feels like a bit of a loss, professionally, to not actually see your patients in person so much.
We were just talking before we started the show here, how this might look 25, 30 years ago before this wonderful technology. And maybe you're listening or watching and thinking like, yeah, I drank with my friends on a happy hour on Zoom, and I get to see my grandma on Skype, or I get to talk to my brother on FaceTime. But you're here to talk about how this technology has been beneficial in the professional world, in the medical community.
Right. So many practices are moving towards telemedicine. And for the most part, what that means is that you have a video chat with your physician. So you could be sitting at home or, at work in a private space, and you would have a smartphone or a computer on your end, and then the doctor would have either a smartphone or a HIPAA-compliant computer or other software on their end. And the whole point is that we really don't want patients, coming into the office physically unless it's an emergency or an urgent matter. There's kind of a difference between emergency and urgent. And urgent things are appropriate to be seen in the office these days. Certainly emergencies are appropriate. But other than that, we really don't want patients, coming into the office. And I'll give you an example. Stella, my 9-year-old, has had a cough. She's really fine, no fever or anything, but has had this lingering cough. So this morning I said, I really should call the pediatrician and see what we can do. So we called the pediatrician's office. We spoke with a nurse who said that the doctor wanted to see Stella via video. I got a text on my phone with a link to click on at the appropriate time. I clicked on the link. Dr. Carlin instantly was there, and Stella was next to me, and he chatted with her and asked her questions, and we got a prescription sent directly to the pharmacy, and it was amazing. And that's really what we're trying to let people know is available. We don't want people to feel like they can't access their doctors. We're just doing it in a different way for safety.
So if you do have a cough or something that might not be what you think is COVID-19 related, you're not really bothering your physicians by asking them to do something like this?
Not at all. We encourage it.
And do you see this kind of thing sticking around after the pandemic?
Actually, it's so funny you say that, because I was so impressed by the process from a parent standpoint and from, a patient standpoint, just in terms of the accessibility to your doctor and the convenience, especially with children. If you have a child that's sick, most of the time you actually have to take off of work, or someone in the house has to take off of work for that child to be seen. So it's really a convenient service for our patients, and I see us offering it even when all of this is finished, really as a convenience to our patients.
And does this go beyond dermatology and just a regular physician visit? Like, can you do this with a dentist or an eye doctor or something?
It really, that's a good question. It depends on what the issue is. There are some things that really aren't, adequately examined or evaluated via video. And sometimes actually in the dermatology space, if there's a particular spot, say a mole or a growth that somebody is worried about, sometimes the video just doesn't give it justice. And in that situation, we would ask that the patient send a photo in addition to a video. So having like a still static image is sometimes required as an adjunct to the video visit.
Are you doing a lot of these from the professional end instead of the parent end?
Yes, I am. Yeah. So in both of my offices, we're doing video visits with two different platforms, just because we have two electronic medical records. But any space that we're at, we're using the software and the technology available to us to make this happen for patients, because we really want to make sure that access is still there, even though patients can't physically come in. There are plenty of other things that people get worried about and concerned about that aren't related to coronavirus. Most insurance payers, like your, MVP or your Excellus, most of them are actually, they're actually waiving the copay for these visits.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what does this mean in the long run? Do you think more people are going to be using this than actually coming to see you and other people in the medical field, and people are just going to stay home and do this video chat service for everything, and you're not even going to need an office one day?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there should be a healthy balance, because there are certain things, especially in dermatology, that just can't be done via video. Sometimes we need to biopsy things. Sometimes we need to snip things off. Sometimes we need to inject things. Sometimes we need to do surgeries. So for all of those procedural components of medicine, obviously a video will not suffice. And then one of the big things in dermatology that we do are comprehensive skin exams. And it's really almost impossible to do that, with a video. You really need that three-dimensional, okay, I'm going to walk around the patient this way and look under their ear, and some things just aren't appropriate or possible with a video visit. So I think there can be a nice balance, a healthy balance between, this kind of technology and your standard in-office visit.
It's incredible. I mean, while we are going through something like this, does feel lucky that we have this technology to at least use when we can. And, as of right now, it doesn't look like the lockdown and quarantine rules and recommendations are changing anytime soon. So we could be bleeding into the summer months, where usually we'd go out and get some sun and some vitamin D and stuff like that. I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that, Chris. Then we're usually okay. So correct me, because I don't know anything. Correct me. Where did I go wrong there?
Getting sun exposure is fine, and being outside is fine, but you definitely want to be protected with sunscreen.
Oh, see, I didn't see that. I kind of, I thought that was insinuated, Dr. Duffy. Please don't. I'm getting yelled at by a person of authority. I'm 31 almost.
Understood.
Well, you know what I'm getting at, right? What can we do to take care of our skin when we're in quarantine? And if this pandemic continues for weeks at a time, weeks and months into the future. Understood.
Good question.
Sorry about that.
Good question. No. Okay. So, assuming that all of the basics are taken care of, you're healthy, your family's healthy, you have all of your your food and all of your provisions. Just a few thoughts for self-care when it comes to the skin. Number one, all of us are or should be washing our hands incessantly. And so what's going to happen if you're not careful to do some self-care with moisturizing of the hands? What'll happen is your skin will actually start to break down and develop a condition called an irritant contact dermatitis, where you have tiny little fissures in the skin. And the problem with that is that when you have breaks in your skin surface, it can actually act as an entry point for infections of other kinds. So you really want to spend some time at home, moisturizing your hands with something thick, like a cream or an ointment. Typically, lotions just aren't thick enough to do the job. You want to pick a cream or an ointment that has more oil quality to replace those skin lipids that are really being stripped away by the soap.
So is there a recommended ratio of how many times I use sanitizer or soap versus how many times I should moisturize? Should it be 50-50 or?
Ideally, you would moisturize after every time that you wash your hands. And some people feel like, well, what's the point? I'm just going to be rinsing it off the next time that I wash my hands. And that's actually not exactly true. A little bit of that cream still stays on the skin and is doing its good job even after every hand washing.
So if you're carrying around one of those little sanitizer or hand sanitizer bottles, you should carry around a little ointment or cream as well. I didn't hear anybody else give that information, so I'm happy you said something about that. What now? Besides that, is there anything else that we should be taking care of, or is that pretty much the top of the?
Yeah. So some things that you can be doing in terms of facial skin care. So we talked about taking care of the skin on your hands, but in terms of taking care of your face. This is a great time if you have some downtime at home to be doing chemical peels. If you're prone to breakouts or you're trying to help treat sun damage or you're helping to treat acne scars, there are actually at-home kits that you can get that are chemical peels that help kind of freshen the skin. That's a great thing to do if you have a few days downtime. Skin masks, clay masks if you're prone to oily skin. There are lots of different masks that you can choose depending on what your skin problem is, but masks are great when you have some downtime. And then the last thing too that you really sometimes need a good amount of time for is to take care of your hair. So depending on how straight or how curly your hair is, caring for your hair and moisturizing your hair and creating a certain protective style, that can take half of a day, honestly. So this is a great time to give your hair some TLC and, moisturize those strands and make your hair as healthy as possible.
Dr. Duffy, is there anything else you'd like to add as far as the telemedicine goes or self-care during quarantine?
No, I think we covered it all. I appreciate you having me on the show, and I just wish everyone good health and we'll get through this soon together.
I just followed your new Instagram page.
Oh,
do you want to give
Chris.
it a shout out? Yeah. What is it? Is it Dr. Oh yeah, here I got it right here. So it's Dr. Naina Duffy.
Thanks.
We can put it up right here. We'll put it up right here on the screen, whatever angle I end up using. So bring, right here.
Thanks.
Okay. And if you're just
Thanks a lot.
If you're just listening, it's Dr.Naina Duffy on Instagram. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
I appreciate it. Yeah. Talk to you soon.
All right.
All right, thanks to Dr. Naina Duffy for giving us those tips on what you could do to take care of your skin while you're quarantined at home. And as promised at the beginning of the episode, we're going to share another way, just like we did last week with the T-shirts, that we can give back and, if you have the means to, help our fellow Rochesterians. Today I'm joined by Jason from Meals by Deleo. What up, Jay?
Hey, how you doing, Chris? Good to see you.
Great. And Tim from Project Lean Nation.
How you doing? Thanks for having us.
No problem. You guys have two successful businesses in the Rochester area that have to do with food. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to give you an introduction that you deserve because I probably couldn't do that. You're established business owners. You know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. So first off, can you tell me a little bit about each of your businesses and what they are and what you do every day?
Go ahead, Jay.
Oh, thanks, Tim. Thank you, Tim. So where I'm from, we have two businesses, Food by Deleo and Meals by Deleo. and catering, meal prep. We do food and wine pairings in our catering business for as small as 8 people. Maybe 5 courses, all the way up to 500 people weddings, 1,000-person picnics, and everything in between. Our meal prep service, we do, weekly meal service. We're fresh, never frozen. And we just love Rochester. So we're here trying to figure out a way we can, say thanks, give back. And, I'm a guy where I put my money where my mouth is. If I can, I do what I can. So here we are trying to do what we can, Chris.
Great. And Tim?
Good job, Jason.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
I'm Tim with Project Lean Nation, and essentially we do the same thing. We help people get healthy. So at the core of our business, we want it to be education and support. That's what we feel separates us. Outside of that, we supply healthy, prepared meals to all kinds of people who are either trying to leverage it for convenience or they have some type of health goal.
And it's like I said, you guys have brands that have been heard on TV, on radio, hopefully on some of the podcasts in the near future when everything's back to normal. So you're well respected in the at least small business community of Rochester. Now I know that first of all, Jay, we've had conversations before where you wanting to help people and doing what you can didn't just spawn with COVID-19 and the coronavirus. And I know you don't like to brag about it and tell everybody how many wonderful things you've done, but I think that before we get into what you guys are planning to do, and I apologize, I'm not trying to insult you. I don't know you well enough to know if or whatever,
Sure.
But I know, Jay, you've done some great stuff for the less fortunate in Rochester. And please don't be bashful or shy to share at least one story with people of something that you've done and why you've done it.
Last night, we had a new chef named Will, good brother, and he had a good network of people that we were able to find out where some need was. Got a family of 7, family of 5, family of 6. I think we fed 7 families last night, upwards of 40 people, give or take. Some big families, but we just have it. We have it. We prepare for it. We do meal prep. We cook all of our own food every week. It's fresh. So if I want to, and that's not a dig anywhere, by the way. No, I'm just trying to say
it's pride.
My product, but my product only lasts so long. So if I order a little bit extra, and I've already got the delivery guys, so I don't do anything great. I just do what I can. I really mean that. We prepare a little bit more and we feed who we can. This is a good opportunity for people to reach out and find that need. I'm always looking for. You see these billboards in Rochester that say, 1 in every 5 children, they're not going to have dinner tonight. So that's what we're looking for. That's who I'm trying to bless. That's who I'm trying to help. I'll help everybody else in between to find those kids. And again, I'm not trying to deliver that food to those kids. I'm just looking for the right people who know them,
right,
that I can get it to the middleman.
Sure.
So that's what we did. That's what we did last night. I guess that's to answer your question.
Yeah, when you say you fed these families, are you? What do you mean by feed? Are you donating food? Are you?
Yeah. So, real quick. Well, I guess we'll start this now. For Meals by Deleo, something that we're running now since the COVID is I'm trying to give people an opportunity to give back. So there's people out there can't leave the house. There's people out there that know the need is there. There's old people. There's young people. There's people that can't leave the house. There's people that children that don't have food. Whatever. Everybody knows somebody. Mm-hmm. And I can't do it myself. So this week, I gave, we fed 40. That was only the start. I gave also on Sunday, we gave some more. Again, not to brag, but I only have so many dollars that I can allocate to it.
Sure.
And I can only prep over so much because I've got children myself, right?
Sure.
So we're running a buy 2, give 1 on my meal prep program of family meals. So a family meal feeds 4. If you buy 2, we're going to deliver that to your house. Then you give us an address, and we're going to deliver that 3rd one for free to another somebody in need. Mm-hmm. It could be your kids. It could be somebody in deep need. Could just be somebody that you want to bless. It really doesn't matter to me.
Sure.
We're just trying to reach out and say, hey, guys, in this time, here's what we can do.
In a time of take, right? Get
Amen.
The toilet paper, get your paper towels, get what you can get your tax break, your stimulus. You're trying to give a little giving, is what you're saying.
Well, you know what? I'm trying to make it a little contagious.
Sure.
You'd be surprised what you can do when you get a bunch of people with the same mind, same heart that just want to get out there and see what they can do I mean, we all know how to make money. You get out there, you hustle, collect
Right.
cans if you got to, but we're going to pay the bills. But at the end of the day, somebody's out there hungry, and food is just what I do. So
Sure.
anyhow, I don't want to get on a tangent here. I
No,
can
right,
real
no.
easy. I'm passionate about this and food. Two
Yeah.
things I love. My wife too. She's awesome. Okay.
And Tim, with Project Lean Nation now, part of your brand, and correct me if I'm wrong, is prep, right? Be
Yeah.
prepared for things.
Sure.
Be prepared for your meals for the day if you want to be healthy and lose weight. Be prepared for this. We're caught in a time in the whole country, if not world, especially in Rochester, where we kind of got caught with our pants down.
Yeah,
There's a
for
lot
sure.
of people. They're not prepared to not go to work for weeks. How do you still have compassion and empathy enough to still help these people? I get it. You're a human being. You're not going to
Sure.
let people suffer. But to go on the other side, go on the offense of still being like, I'm still going to be here for you, even though I've been telling you to prepare
Sure.
for the entirety of my business.
Yeah, I can speak to that. So kind of the ethos of our business is, I'm looking for a particular type of person that works on our team. And they're all people who have compassion and empathy for others. So losing yourself in service of others, that's kind of our ethos. So we always want to help everybody we can. I want to speak to what Jason said, is that when I got to know Jason and he shared these ideas with me, I was inspired by him. So it is contagious. It's working, Jay.
Cool.
So we always do what we can, and we have outreach programs, and we've worked with Food Link, and we've helped others in need. But we know that currently, our country's had a real issue with health for a long, long time. But in this current state, there's even more need, and people are home, and people are challenged. And me personally, I'm scared too in business. But one of the ways that I can overcome that fear is by just relentlessly giving and trying to find ways to serve others, and that's what makes me feel better.
Now, if you haven't put it together by now, people listening or watching, I'm sitting in between two competitors in a sense, right? You both provide meal prep in a general umbrella of what's going on here, correct?
Absolutely.
Sure, I can speak to that. So, like, in the same sense that I want to look at Meals by Deleo as somebody who locks arms with me and helps make this community a healthier place. Mm-hmm. So we serve essentially the same community. We're fighting the same fight. Our sons go to the same school, and I used to see them there. And I used to feel friction when I saw him because I felt that competitiveness.
Sure.
And I reached out to him because it was irrational, and we can be tools to each other. And if there's a way we can team up to serve our community, I'm like all the way into that.
Yeah, but my point was, like, we don't see two big car dealerships sitting here trying to figure something out. We don't see two big plumbing companies, and I could speak to that. I'm a plumbing company owner. But what you guys are doing, essentially competition, you're coming together to do what? What's the big goal? What's the big idea? What's the plan to be compassionate and empathetic towards people not only who have lost their jobs, but people who are even working double or triple time to kind of get us out of this hole of quarantine and job loss and stuff like that? What's the big plan?
Well, I'll tell you what. So far on our end, we're on the cuff. And on the cuff means, like I said, I don't let too many people know it, but it's an opportunity where, hey, I want to throw this out there for nurses, doctors, ICU. People have been DMing me on Facebook. So if you go into Facebook or the Instagram or any of those things and you DM, I get it personally so that I can do what I want to do with it, right? And somebody DM me. So we're trying to find groups. I can't, like I said, I can only do so much. So
Sure.
We fed 22 nurses the other day. That's another way you could just text out, hey, Jay, here's the thing we could do. Send it to us. We could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And just for doctors, caregivers. But Tim came up with a great idea. Go ahead, Tim.
I'll speak to that. So I know and understand that we heavily serve the first responders community. So police, fire, EMS.
On a normal basis.
On a normal basis.
Okay.
So we give them a discount. They're kind of maybe what I feel are people who are overworked and oftentimes they don't take care of their own health. They make that sacrifice to serve others. We respect that. So in this case, Jason came to me and said, hey, what's something we can do? And I think that's the thing we should all be doing, what we can do.
Right.
So we decided that over the course of the next 2 weeks, we're going to put food at every police station and every fire department. That's our first stage. We're going to start there and see where we can go from there.
Any idea what that number is of how many there are?
No, I mean, we did a little Google search, and
Quick looks about 30, right?
Yeah, it's pretty broad. So we're
Right.
going to put together all the resources we can, and we're going to split those up evenly, and we're going to go out into the community personally and with our team, and we're going to go out to those places and let those guys know that we respect the fact that they are sacrificing their health every single day in our community, that they're likely to be overworked. We know they're underpaid for what they do. These are our community's heroes. So we want to get behind them and at least provide them a meal. It's a small token of our appreciation for what they do for us daily.
That's fantastic. I mean, and is there any way that the viewers or listeners can help with this goal or help with another part of your business that can then free you up to do this at a more efficient pace? I know that this is something you guys just came up with, and it's on a brainstorm level.
Yeah, I mean, there's two things that they can do. They can reach out and support our businesses. That's one way. They could shop local. That's helpful.
Amen, that's right.
The other thing they can do is if they reach out to us directly through any channel, email, Instagram, any social media platform, if they have resources that they would like to lend, whether it be their time, their money, or whatever they have, we would find a way to leverage that to help our mission.
So contact you directly. There's no official, GoFundMe or anything like that. This is more of an intimate local Rochester to Rochester thing.
Yeah. If you want to support Jason, go on there and order his meals.
I will say, because as Tim was saying, we hadn't thought about it. You know what I mean? How could people help? If you want to help, well, I'll tell you this: product. Product. If you're a restaurant owner or in the food business, send Palmer's over with a bag of potatoes and a bag of carrots. That's the way you can help.
Okay.
You got my personal guarantee. You send that to my kitchen. Whatever you send, it's going to be prepped, cooked, and fed to people in need. That's a guarantee.
Just a suggestion, and you could say that you thought of this or didn't, or it's not going to work or whatever. But if you can set up a quick little Venmo account or something that's whatever you call it, anything, and then because I know me, if I see this on Instagram, like another Chicken Out Rock did it. They were going to bring some food to the nurses.
They did awesome. I saw that,
and it was just hey, Venmo us $10 or whatever you can afford to help, and then they raised like $2,000 in a day, and I think obviously that would help tremendously and make it incredibly efficient.
Absolutely. So I'm a huge, if you're not a fan, what would you call that, Tim? If I'm not a fan.
You're not a fan.
I'm just not a fan. I don't like to ask people for money. Now,
True.
Now I get that there's got to, you kind of, if you want people to help, you got to figure something out. That's what I did. If you buy the 2 meals, you get one.
Sure. Okay. That's fair.
But I definitely...
We'll say it like this.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know what you're saying.
We're believers, and we have faith.
Amen.
And those resources will arrive one way or another.
I believe that.
We'll be able to figure that out.
I believe you helping us here. I did a little thing on Spectrum News a few days ago. I think once a word spreads, people like you can help us the most by just letting people know what we're doing.
Sure.
And then people will contact us, I think, with a bag of onions, chicken, or whatever else we need.
Sure.
It'll be provided. I guarantee
and
it.
there are, if you want to help as an individual, if you don't have a restaurant, because not everybody has a restaurant. Most people watching or listening don't own restaurants. But how about this? There are restaurants, full-fledged, big sports bars or whatever, where they are selling chicken by the pound and they are selling, steak and stuff by the pound, right? Could they go to those, and you could shoot this down if you want. Could I go to 585 Rockin' Burger Bar and buy $50 worth of chicken and bring it to your kitchen, and can that work its way through? Or
I'll tell you, if you get me food, I'll get it to people who need it.
okay, that's
Amen.
it. Great. I'm sorry I just want to make this as easy as possible.
I'm glad you're asking, because there's a lot of things I haven't thought of, and that's a good idea to get more out there. And I promise you, at my kitchen, this Will McDouglas, great dude, he's got a heart for this, and he's my leader in this from where we go and bless people with it. The more food you get this, man, I've never seen a smile ear to ear, man. Ear to ear.
Well, I'm going to stand by, and I'm going to, once we hit the stop button on this, I'm still going to shake you guys down to make a Venmo account, because I'm telling you,
enough.
I know.
I'll put a link on my site.
There you
I
go.
know there's
Send the money to Tim. He'll get us the food.
Yeah.
Like,
something
gotcha.
somewhere. I know if I could find it on my scroll, if I could scroll through and hit $10, I feel good, because it's going, especially people who've seen this, it's going to one of you two guys directly, and we know you guys know what food to buy. You know what to buy, not in excess.
Absolutely.
So I'd rather give money if I can. And if you can't give money and have the extra bag of potatoes, I think two of those channels would work perfectly. And I'm taking all the credit for this idea now. No, I'm kidding.
We'll have a link for you. We got it.
We'll make it happen. Okay,
cool.
What are we drinking right here, Tim? I know you brought
This is
these
a PB and Jack. This is our famous shake, so it outsells everything else in our store. So people love them. I thought I'd come share a few.
Super.
I even won over the competition with it. Check them out over there.
Look, I'm telling you, the first time I got it, I thought we were going to have a fruit drink.
Uh-huh.
This is the most unique.
I did not
flavor
expect
thing.
peanut butter in
No,
this
right?
big
Not at
purple
all.
drink.
Not at all. It's bomb.
It looks like one of those green shakes that come out on
Yeah. I know what you're talking
Shamrock
about.
shake.
Shamrock shake.
Much better for you.
All right, we're off Lean Nation now.
Whoa, okay.
Jay, if we're ordering something from you, if we're ordering those two family styles, what's the top one? What's the most popular thing that that will be? I know all your food's great, but what are you sending? What are you recommending that people order if they're ordering family style? The 2-for-1 where they get two, and you could send one to somebody else. And again, it doesn't have to be a shelter or anything like that. It could be your sister who's a nurse who's worked 12-hour shifts in a row.
That's
So
right.
what are we ordering? What's popular?
You know what? Ground turkey taco is a big one. And I'll tell you what, believe it or not, I still do most of the cooking. Training somebody now. So any of our braised chicken dishes, everything's, I hate to tell you.
No, I know what you're saying.
Everything's good, folks.
Everything's good.
I cook it. I'd
All right.
rather be in the kitchen. Anyhow, thank you.
Yeah, of course. We're gonna iron
Thank
out
you so much for having
We'll
us.
iron out the details by the time, as you're watching right now, stay to the end, because we'll put the official location of where, if you want to throw a couple bucks for Venmo or PayPal or through a website, it'll be in text at the end of this once we iron this out. So thank you guys. Thank you, Jay from Meals by Deleo.
Thank you.
And Tim from Project Lean Nation.
Thank you so much.
Please support these businesses who are supporting us in return. It's a big circle. That's how we're going to dig ourselves out of this giant hole.
Hey, Chris, can I interrupt you real quick?
Sure.
Sorry. I want to throw a shameless plug in for, so I also rent, at my kitchen, I've got some food trucks that right now are completely, obviously, not doing anything. So we started something called DoorDash. It's DoorDash.mealsbydeleo.
Okay.
And it's basically no different than, I'm sorry, it's not DoorDash. Don't sue me.
I was going to say.
It's DoorDrop.
Door
I have to
drop.
get insurance.
DoorDrop.mealsbydeleo. Basically, it's hot food. We've got Rob's Kebabs, Rustic Taco,
Sure.
Meals by Deleo, Food by Deleo came together. We've got about 20 items. We serve them hot. We do lunch Monday, lunch and dinner.
Okay.
5 days a week. Tuesday through Saturday.
Okay.
Lunch and dinner. We deliver it hot.
Oh, wow. So it's like the ice cream truck, but you're delivering hot food.
So you go online, you order. It's no different than Uber Eats, DoorDash. We just are in-house. We're doing our own delivery. We cook our own food, and we're able to keep everybody quarantined. We drop it off at your door. We don't even ring the doorbell.
Less hands touching
The
it.
real benefit is that there's a whole fleet of food truck owners that they're small businesses that they
Sure.
have no business right now. So Jason has created a strategy to keep those guys working. I think it's awesome.
It's wonderful. And again, less hands. You know what hands are touching it. It's the same hands every time. You could have a different Uber Eats driver or whatever.
That's right.
Not to knock that company, they provide a service, obviously. And but if we could be local, the faster that the more we support local, the faster we get out of this first, and then the help that being helpful spreads down the line and out. So again, like I said, support these two businesses now if you can, if you have the means to. And of course, remember who was helpful and what kind of people run what kind of businesses when we're out of this, when you do have the means to make the choice, hopefully very, very soon when this is all over. So thank you both again for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks again to Dr. Naina Duffy for helping us out with some information on how to take care of your skin at the beginning of this episode. Thank you for supporting and watching the Chris Konya Show and all the shows on the Rochester Podcast Network. If you're interested in hosting your own show, contact us at rochesterpodcastnetwork.com. There's a link there where you could click and set up an email and get your idea out, and we can go from there and And you know, everybody's kind of having a story written about themselves or writing their own story, especially in this unique time. There's going to be a lot of interesting things that people can talk about and share with each other after this is all over. So a podcast is a great way to do that. So RochesterPodcastNetwork.com. And thanks again for listening or watching The Chris Konya Show.
Just hoping someone out there hears my song. Till they do, swear that I'm gonna walk the walk, I'm gonna talk my talk, gonna spend my money till the money's gone. 'Cause there ain't nobody here that I answer to. Yeah, I'm gonna walk the walk, I'm gonna talk my talk, gonna spend my days back where I'm from, a place where all that